Good afternoon. This is video number 2 since you guys are probably gonna need help graphing secant and cosecant. And well, Mr. Sanchez is here to help you. It's 12:10 in midnight, and I am creating this video. See, you can see it on the top left over here. That's the time. And I'm doing this just because I care about you guys. And you guys are probably like, you should have submitted this video earlier, Mr. Sanchez. And you know what? You skip ahead. You skip ahead. This is boring. Anyways, as I was saying, we're gonna now draw cosecant and secant. So if you know how to draw sine and cosine, and if you'll be having a good time. If you don't know how to draw sine and cosine, then watch the previous video and you'll know how to do this. Okay. So cosecant. Remember, cosecant, reciprocal sine. I'm dying here. All right, reciprocal is sine. So that means in order to draw cosecant, you gotta know how to draw sine, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys this is how we do it, okay? This is how we do it. I'm gonna draw a little line here. And you should draw this line too. All right, every little line is gonna count as pi over 2, but I don't like writing pi over 2. So I'm just gonna write pi here and 2 pi, and then I guess I'll write negative pi over 2 here just to be nice, okay? In order to draw this, you gotta know how to draw this equation, the real equation. Y equals sine theta plus 1. Okay. So what do we know about y equals sine theta plus 1? Well, we know this plus mean 1 means we have a vertical shift up. We're gonna move our graph up. That means that's our midline. Our midline is y equals 1. So our midline goes here. And then we just draw a regular sine graph on this midline, okay? What do we know about sine? We know that sine starts at our midline, goes 1 up, goes back to our midline, goes 1 down, back to our midline, and it just repeats this process over and over. All right, I'm gonna draw a dotted line just because we're not really drawing this line, okay? Now, one thing you gotta remember is that technically, this point here where we cross our midline, that's technically where sine is 0. So if I was to move this graph, uh down 1 unit without doing the plus 1, this would be 0, right? And so the thing is, when we draw cosecant, wherever sine crosses our midline or crosses 0, not this 0, not that 0, but whenever it crosses the midline or the original 0, like sine equals just sine theta, then technically you got to remember that cosecant is the reciprocal. So when it is the reciprocal of 0 is undefined. So we're gonna have vertical asymptotes there. So wherever we cross our midline, that's where we're gonna have vertical asymptotes. And so I'm gonna draw them. Okay, so we have BAs here, here, and here. That's x equals 2 pi, x equals pi, and x equals 0. Okay? The thing is, it's very easy to draw cosecant because now all you gotta do is find the peak. So this is a peak. And cosecant likes to kiss sine there at that peak, and then it goes away. And it's gonna repeat that. It's also gonna find you at your lowest, and then it's gonna go away towards your asymptotes. Because remember, we like going towards our asymptotes. And it's just gonna repeat that process over and over. Technically, we have an asymptote here. Right? And that's the orange part is cosecant. On your test, it's okay to draw sine and then drawing cosecant on top. Um, you're not gonna lose points. And that's the basics of how to graph this. So if you know how to graph sine and cosine, you know how to graph cosecant and secant. There's like nothing. There's nothing crazy. So if you don't know how to draw sine and cosine, go watch the old video, and you got this. All right, I'm gonna do one more, and then that's it, guys. That's it. I'm doing more, and that's it. Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So level 2 problems. All right. So I'm gonna draw my little graph like this. I see we're -1. but we got two, so I'm gonna make sure my line is up here. And remember, our since we're not changing our period, we're not doing any of that stuff yet. We're gonna go pi, 2 pi, negative pi over 2. This is technically pi over 2. This is 3 pi over 2. And this goes on forever, never, 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 right? Okay, so each line counts as 1, 2, -1, -2, and you gotta have -3 here. I know, but you, all right. So one thing you gotta notice, our amplitude is 2. Our amplitude is 2, and our vertical shift is 1 down. So that means my midline is at -1. So you're gonna have your midline down here. But to draw cosecant, remember cosecant is the reciprocal of cosine theta. So we're first gonna start by drawing 2 cosine theta -1. Okay. Sometimes you might look at the equation like this: -1 plus 2 cosecant cosine theta. They're the same thing. They're equal to each other. All right. It's just they're the same thing. All right. Anyways, so our amplitude is 2, right? Our amplitude is 2. It's the number 2 here. So because we're drawing cosine right now, we're gonna start our amplitude. So you're gonna go up 2 from the midline. That's where we're gonna start up here. And then we go down to our midline. And then we're gonna go down 2 below our midline. And then back to our midline and then up 2. Right? And we're gonna have this point here. Ta-da. And I just know that our graph does technically always keep following the cycle. So I'm gonna draw dotted lines for the parts that go over the that's just our first period, okay? Remember, same thing like sine and cosine. So whenever we cross our midline, those are our vertical asymptotes. So we're gonna go ahead and label those asymptotes. Okay. We're gonna have vertical asymptotes wherever we cross our midline. So we're gonna go ahead and draw those right here. This is x equals 3 pi over 2. This is x equals pi over 2. And just like cosecant, secant likes touching cosine at its peaks, and then it goes away towards our asymptotes. And technically, I know this goes over here. This goes here and here. You know, you draw parabola shapes basically wherever the peaks are. And that's how you draw them. Okay. Definitely there's an asymptote here. I'll just draw that here. And technically there's an asymptote here. And that's basically the graph. All right, guys. It's pretty easy. One cycle of secant looks like this because it goes from 0 to 2 pi, and it has 2 asymptotes, and they're labeled right there. All right. That's secant and cosecant. If you have a negative sign, you know, it doesn't matter. Just draw negative cosine or negative sign, and you're gonna get the right graph. All right. I'm trying to keep this video short because I know that we went over them in class. Hopefully this video helps with secant and cosecant. I know that the hard part is really the level 4 problem, so that's gonna come up next. You're probably saying, well, what about level 3? It's we'll do level 3 and 4 together. And yeah. All right. Bye. I gotta end the video. Like